Yes, you are approved for our athletes. I started a policy when I was in foreign affairs. World beaters like Young, Faith, Kipyegon, Mora, and others. You should have a policy of giving them protocol services when they travel. Translators. You know, I remember one of our athletes, when she finished a marathon and had won, she was asked, how did you find the sport? She says, I just ran and kept running, and then God came into me, and I continued running, and I won. You know, if you give them support services, media, and there is nothing that outlaws speaking in mother tongue after you have won, as long as you have somebody next to you who can translate what you are saying to the world. So you should consider a policy of giving them that. Then lastly, under President Kibaki, there was a policy of rewarding our athletes who won medals in the Olympics and elsewhere. President Ruto started awarding those who get gold medals. Is it medals or break world records? Who break world records? We should also extend that to those who win gold medals, silver medals. You know, to some countries, even coming back with bronze is big business. It becomes a national celebration. So you should also have a policy of graduated rewards for these world beaters who bring glory to our country. Let me ask you a question or two. Kenya Power is a monopoly. In fact, the biggest monopoly in this country. And yet we keep on seeing stories that it is technically insolvent or has serious financial difficulties. If you find favor and become the CS, what are you going to do to ensure that this monopoly that has a stranglehold over every sector of life in Kenya, that collects money from everybody, some up front with prepaid meters, becomes profitable and pays a dividend to the treasury? Because it is a state company. Number two, and this follows what Rahim was saying, there is a lot of erratic billing by Kenya Power. Yours truly here has been a regular victim. They give you one bill of 28,000 in 1 month, the next month they give you 89,000. And it's the same consumption in the house. There is one time they gave me a bill, nominee, of 550,000 for a month. And they came and disconnected my power from the pole. And they're the only supplier, so you have to pay. What are you going to do about this? Then you had Mbalambala MP. A breakdown has taken 7 months without fixing. Will you consider, if you are confirmed, to sit with KPLC and give them strict timelines and schedules within which to respond to public needs? If there's a breakdown, it should not take more than a day, time allowing or not allowing 2 days, but 7 months is unacceptable. If you are confirmed, you know, we are giving, and the government has done very well for the last over 10 years. Schools have been connected with power in many parts of the country. But if you go to these schools, if you turn up as an MP, the first thing you are told is, we have not paid our electricity bill. Please help us to pay. would you consider having an arrangement where schools and public institutions are charged subsidized rates so that they do not pay commercial rates like industries, factories, and other households? So that in some schools you go, there is power connection, but the only thing it's used is teachers charging their phones, nothing else. They cannot afford to use it for anything else. So if you can consider that. Lastly, if you are confirmed, you know, I was the first electricity regulator in this country, you remember? At that time, when we carried out a study, there was in the Southern Africa countries called the Southern Power Pool, where Zambia, Zimbabwe, South Africa, Botswana, Lesotho, Swazi were all interconnected. So if there was a shortage of power in Zambia, it automatically flows in from the connection in the pool and vice versa. Would you consider working with your counterparts in the region to create a power pool for the East African countries, including Ethiopia that now has enormous capacity after the Renaissance Dam, so that we can, in times of straits like droughts, it automatically flows into Kenya, there is metering, and we pay for it?
Thank you, Honorable Speaker.